Hey, thanks for tuning in. It's Mike, the political science guy. I'm going to ask you a question and I'll answer it rhetorically. Did baby boomers screw up the country? Well, yes and no. Every generation does something to the country. Do they build it? Do they make it better? The greatest generation certainly did a lot of good stuff. For example, the reality is that every generation has some good and some bad. What did the baby boomers do specifically that was bad and good? Well, the bad that they did, you could say, well, housing, healthcare, and higher education were all a lot less expensive when we started, the baby boomers, than it is now, which meant that the access to the middle class was much more obtainable, which when you have a large middle class, and part of the definition truly of middle class is property ownership, you have a stable society. But the baby boomers did about 50 years of, no, you can't build here, no, you can't build there with housing. They did a lot of allowing academia to featherbed and add multiple administrative posts to the point where they grew by a third, if not more, and they caused the price of higher education to become unobtainable for a lot of lower middle class folks who weren't too poor, but were just poor enough to be left on the side. With medical care, they allowed the practitioners' unions to be able to ride roughshod over the hospital administrators and the insurance companies, and so they tightened the supply of practitioners entering the market while the amount of people needing their services, or the demand, went up. And this all happened under the baby boomers' watch. Now, some people will say, well, that's a conspiracy, and I'll say no. It's just it's episodic. It happens in sporadic ways over the course of decades, and so collective responsibility, collective benefit, collective punishment are all parts of politics, and that does mean that, okay, if you take the first example with housing, you have 50 years of you can't build here, you can't build here, you can't build here, you can't build there. Then why is my kid moving to Wyoming because that's the only place he can build a house? Or why is my kid living in an apartment and now he's an unsettled person that never had his own children because he couldn't afford them? And the reality is that, yeah, there's a certain amount of, hey, this comes back and bites you in the butt. So, for example, Governor Gavin Newsom in California, say what you will about him, he passed SB 9 and 10, which specifically said to the cities, no, you're going to build. We got 500,000 homes to build, and you're going to build. And if you don't build, we're going to sue you. So even the Democrats are taking the issue on, because I think the centrist Democrats realize that they want people to own property, and they understand that otherwise they'll turn into radical Democrats. So that's a good thing. But in terms of some of the other aspects of where the baby boomers have failed in terms of accessing the middle class, higher education, the Democrats haven't really done a very good job of that. Biden has said, we're going to forgive a lot of tuitions, but you can't really do enough of that, especially because you still have a hole at the bottom which has to be patched up, which is that you have too much featherbedding of administrative positions. So ironically, in places like Texas, there's a whole bunch of fluff and feathers faculty that are involved with DEI that are being let go. I think in Florida too. And it'll be interesting to see if the cost of college drops in those places. It'll give you an idea of where the extra cost is in colleges. And then with medicine, again, it really boils down to supply and demand. If you have enough practitioners in the marketplace to meet the demand, the prices will drop. But when you don't, you get doctors that take 6-week vacations and they make six-figure salaries, and they might be in the 300,000 club, and that's great for them. Yay for them. But the reality is that means that you're going to have a medical service denied you. And the reality is that when you need that medical service and you can't get it because it's too expensive for the insurance company, don't think it's the evil insurance company. It's because the AMA has made sure there's not enough doctors out there that can provide that service. Okay, enough said. Baby boomers definitely have responsibility in all three of those ways into the middle class. I appreciate your time. Thanks for checking in. And just remember that a large middle class is stability. And if you don't have a large middle class, you got a teeter-totter without springs. I'll leave you with that. Have a good one.